Why is it important to increase the number and depth of revenue streams in higher education, and how can institutions accomplish that?
Increasing the number and depth of revenue streams is essential for the future because most institutions, higher education institutions, are dancing in the dragon's jaws of financial threat. Colleges and universities often have problems making their budgets because in public institutions, the states continue to cut budgets, they cut public funding, and enrollment with traditional students has continued to decline now for many, many years. So I talk often about if you can picture this in your mind, kind of a stool with legs on it, okay? It's a financial platform with legs supporting it. And traditionally, the academy has had two legs on this stool. One of them is tuition, and the other one is donors. So those two legs have supported the academy pretty much thus far. Now there are some exceptions, but that's been the general across the board rule. Now, in today's market, because of the declining funding, the declining enrollment, and because we have so far to go with advancement and change and development, we have to have a large number of legs on those stools. So, and I would say 10 to 12 perhaps. One of them is continuing education and workforce development. Many universities do not have sufficient programs in this area. Intellectual property is another one, partnerships, grants, patents. But I'd say that the business and industry partnerships is one of the most important and largest areas that need to be developed. An example of a college that has done a really good job on this is Sweetbriar College in Virginia, which happens to be my alma mater. Their board voted in 2015 to close the college. They didn't actually close. The alumni got together and used one of the legs on the stool. They raised I think 37 million, somewhere around that in 3 months, I believe it was. And they were able to reopen the institution and begin reimagining that institution. With input from a lot of the alumni, they came up with several ideas about creating new legs on the stool. And one of them was they had 3,400 acres on the edge of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and they made a vineyard out there and an apiary. So now they make wine and honey. They completely revamped their curriculum. They didn't try to be everything to everyone anymore. They built on their niches. One of those was equestrian. They have one of the best equestrian programs in the nation. And so they built on those strengths. And then they stopped trying to do all the things that perhaps they didn't do as well as other institutions. So specializing in those areas, capitalizing on your strengths, cutting your losses, and trying to invent or develop or lengthen or create more depth in the revenue streams that you already have is essential for health and survival financially, which is finances is the number one reason that institutions close. So it's essential for all institutions.
How do you develop a revenue stream in an area that's already occupied in your particular geographic area?
Before you develop any revenue stream area, it's really important, of course, to do your homework. So the academy should be used to doing homework, and they need to get in there and do the research to make sure that whatever they're doing is viable, that it's going to be viable not only for their institution itself, but in the environment and in the community, extended community, perhaps state, maybe even nation, in which they're developing this. So it's real important that the homework is done, the research is done to make sure that whatever their endeavor they're doing is going to be successful and is going to contribute to the financial health of the institution.